This is Radioactive Banana, and it's October 8th at 4:42 p.m. And this is part 2 of how Rockefeller Oil is working with Vladimir Putin and really committing treason against the U.S. So a U.S. corporation is working with Russia to stop gas and oil in the United States. And in yesterday's video, we talked about the fact that the Caribbean Petroleum Corporation out of Puerto Rico, which is a U.S. territory, has used the Gulf brand name. And the Gulf brand, they've been around for quite a while, but they started in 1901 and stopped in 1985 when they were bought out from Standard Oil of California. And then they were rebranded as Chevron. And so if we go back to this article that I had up yesterday from RT called U.S. May Offer Sanctions Relief to Venezuela for Oil, and it's the Wall Street Journal, and I was calling it Washington Street Journal yesterday. But in the first paragraph we read, Washington is preparing to partially ease sanctions on Venezuela in hope of securing permission for U.S. multinational energy corporation Chevron to resume pumping oil in South America, or Venezuela. Now, you should know Venezuela has one of the largest oil deposits in the world. And here you can see that Chevron wants to start pumping oil again. They want us to believe that ever since 2019, with the attempted overthrow of Maduro, that Chevron stopped pumping oil, or a Rockefeller company stopped pumping oil. No, they did not. If you remember, Russia came in fairly quickly, and Rosneft began to do the management of the Chevron fields. And so Russia has been selling the Rockefeller oil around the world. And so again, you see that the Rockefellers are working with Putin. And if Putin is our enemy, then wouldn't that be treason, that the Rockefellers are working with the enemy? Same thing in Saudi Arabia. The Rockefeller oil fields in Saudi Arabia ran by the Rockefellers. They are working with the Saudi Arabians and now Putin. And so they are working against us, the Rockefellers are, with Putin. And so, you know, if you remember World War II and the history of it, the Rockefellers also had committed treason at that time, because they gave Hitler oil and gas for the planes and the boats and the vehicles, and Hitler would have never gotten off the ground without the oil and gas from the Rockefellers. And we really need to call them out on this, is, you know, what I'm thinking. And here in Newsweek, this is this was actually March 8th, Biden administration turning to Venezuela for oil sparks bipartisan backlash. Yes, everybody's mad at Biden. They were at March for asking for Venezuela's oil. And I'm thinking what an idiot he is, because there was an attempted overthrow. The U.S. embassy was shut in Venezuela. So does he really think that Venezuela wants to give the United States Rockefeller oil? I mean, it's just ridiculous. And if we look, here's another article. This one's October 6th from the New York Post. Biden, no Saudi regrets after OPEC cuts. Won't rule out Venezuela oil ask. Terrible title. But again, here's another article talking about the Saudis and Venezuela. And it's ridiculous that he would even ask Venezuela. I mean, this is February, 1 month before this article. from the AP News, and they're saying, I went over this yesterday, there's a powerful military cooperation between Maduro and Russia. So do you think things are going to change within a month? The U.S. is going to get to go down to Venezuela and get some Rockefeller oil? I don't think so. But now let's pop over to Yahoo Finance. And if you type in Yahoo Finance in their search box, any company in the United States, you will find the top institutional holders are Vanguard, Berkshire Hathaway, State Street, BlackRock, Bank of America, Geode Capital Management, and all the rest here. So this is the Chevron Corporation, and you see these file names here. So you just have to go to Holders, and when you click on Holders, this will drop down. So Chevron is has these top institutional holders, and all these corporations are owned by the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. So you can see that these top corporations really own a lot of corporations in the world. And there's been many videos out on this, and especially recently, naming, these people as having extreme control of the world. So here's Chevron, and you go to Saudi, and they just give us these names because it's a private corporation. And the first person I'll bring up is Zaid, and he's an investment manager, and what we see is he's in the region where there's a Gulf Cooperation Council, and Gulf is owned by the Standard Oil Company of Southern California, the Rockefellers. And here we have Khalil. He is CEO and managing director. He's been managing this for 30 years. And so what that means is he has been getting a major kickback for 30 years from the Rockefellers to screw over his country. Now we have this guy, Trey Gowed, and I just really believe his name has been changed and that he's really part of the Geode Capital Management. And you think, well, you might be suspicious, Radioactive Banana, and I would say, yes, I am, because people in the elite change their names, just like the Medicis. The Rothschilds are really the Medicis. Now, we've heard that their name was Bauer, and they probably changed their names many times. It's something they do all the time. But do I think this name is misspelled? Yes. This guy's from the United States. He's worked with Saudi Aramco. He helps to diversify the kingdom's economy and create high-quality Saudi jobs. And he works on all these funds and doing all these, equity things. But he is a Rockefeller guy. And here's another gentleman, Ayad. He's a founder and investor, and yes, part of the Gulf Cooperation Council. And, what we really need to do is to call out all these corporations right now and really find out what they're doing right now, because we need to stop the war. We need someone to have guts and freeze all their accounts. All these accounts need to be frozen. All the people of the world need to be paid back for all they have been ripped off by these huge corporations. But to finish off here, I just want to say that in my presentation, I hope you saw that Saudi Arabian oil company is really owned and controlled by the Rockefellers, and I learned that in the new Confessions of an Economic Hitman. And in Venezuela, we see that the Chevron company is there, which is a Rockefeller company, also working with Russia. And this means they are working against the United States because Saudi Arabia pulled back 2.5 million barrels. That means the Rockefellers had them pull back 2.5 million barrels. And in Venezuela, the Chevron company there is working with Russia, and Russia is exporting the oil all over the world. And so these guys are all tied together. This is a big stage play. All the world governments are a part of it. They step in, they play their part, and people get stuck on little tiny battles, on little tiny subjects. And really, the U.S. needs to focus on looking at the whole world. Instead of being so myopic and just looking at the U.S. problems, we have to tie this all together. We have to look at all these corporations now. We have to find someone with guts who will freeze their accounts. People may believe in Gassara and Nasara, which I do not. It's not real. But freezing their accounts, stopping this, shutting this all down, and then paying out the people, I think we could actually make that happen. That's something we could make happen. But anyway, I hope you found this interesting, and leave any comments down below. I'll put all the links that I use down below. And let's go after these corporations, because we have to take down the NWO. Right? NWO gotta go. This is Radioactive Banana, signing out.